The thing about a lie is with enough time, the truth shows up. And then that's when the pivot happens, either with a new lie or denial. Welcome to Hey Uncle Tuck. I'm Tuck, your uncle's favorite uncle, and do I have a story for you? Personally, I've never been a fan of group vacations. I'm talking about the group vacations where, one person organizes it and then everybody gives that person that money, and then the day of the trip, we all get together and, we go enjoy the trip and enjoy our vacation. I never was a fan of that. And I think mostly because I had an acquaintance. I haven't seen this person, God knows how long, it's so many years. But this person was a genius for putting trips together. That was his knack. And he pulled off enough successful trips that when it came to this very last one, there was really no doubt that, the same thing would happen. We would give our money, go to the trip and experience the trip, and everything he said he was going to do, it was done. But this particular time, it was a fucking disaster. He put together a package that I can't remember exactly where it was going, but just for the sake of the story, I think we were going from Delaware to DC, and it was supposed to be a weekend trip. We were going to have a couple lounges, a couple bars. It was an event going on down there. It was going to be a very, very nice weekend. We were leaving Thursday night, coming back Sunday afternoon. He chartered a bus and he put the itinerary together, which on paper, it looked great. It looked fucking great. It was about, I can't remember the exact dollar amount, but for the sake of this discussion, I'm going to say it was about $600. So it's $600 a person. I think it was like $800 if you went with a couple. So the majority of pretty much everybody, we paid the couple's price because everybody just felt for an additional $200 I could bring somebody along. So some ladies, they brought their boyfriends, some guys brought their girlfriends, a couple people partnered up with their best friends, just it was a good deal. I think it was about 10 of us. So 10 people times what? I said $800. So you're talking about $8,000. We got to the designated meeting spot. And it was like a chartered bus that we were going to ride down on. The bus driver wasn't letting anybody on the bus. So the guy that put the trip together, he says, hold on, let me see what's going on. And me, I'm going to ear hustle. So, I kind of got close. Come to find out, he only paid the deposit for the bus, but he didn't pay for the entire bus. So the bus driver's like, look, I can't let nobody get on until, the money got to be paid. I need my cash up front. Now, dude's walking around puzzling, talking about, hold on, we got, he comes back and tells us, the group, we're having a little mechanical issues. He's just checking some things out. We'll be getting on the bus in a minute. So everybody's cool because, we in the parking lot pre-gaming. This is a 2-hour ride to DC on a Thursday night, and we off till Monday, and we not coming back till Sunday night. So yeah, it's a lot of pre-gaming. It's a lot of drinking, weed in the air. It's a lot of shit going on. Come to find out, after having this amount of money, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He paid the bus driver a deposit. The remainder amount was supposed to be paid once the bus pulled into our designated meeting spot. Now, I don't know exactly what he did with the money or how that shit transpired, but I believe it was about another $600 that the bus driver was owed. He came up with some story that, his mom grabbed the wrong envelope that he had all our money in, and she paid some bills and stuff. And by the time he got to her and realized it was a mistake, the money was already spent. His mom does get paid on Friday, which she's going to wire the money down to him. Because you figure, like, this is 2001. There was no Cash App, there was no Venmo, and PayPal wasn't really widely used or trusted like that. So it would have to be a wire. And since it was going to be on a Friday, she can either wire it to the bank and get it that same day. I think the lie he told was he's going to have his mom deposit it into his account and then he'll take care of it from there. We had this one guy that was in the group, real cool dude. And even though we all worked for corporate America, this dude definitely had one foot in the streets. If you know what I mean. He had one foot in the streets. He was like, yo, how much you need? Dude was like, yo, I need about 600. Dude said, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the ATM. I'm gonna give you this money, but I need it back as soon as you get it. And when I say as soon, I'm talking no later than Friday afternoon, because your mom gets paid on Friday morning. She needs to take her ass to the bank, deposit that money, and I need my change aid back. Cool. The bus thing is taken care of. So we're on the bus, we're riding down. But now I'm sitting there looking at, my date, because I was dating at the time. I know it's hard to believe, but that's neither here nor there. I looked at my date and was like, yo, I hope that's the only hiccup we experience on this trip. And she's looking at me like, yeah, I hope it is too, because I don't know about you, but I don't have no family in DC. And I'm like, the closest person I got in DC is my nephew. And I think he's like somewhere between Baltimore or Virginia, something like that, He ain't gonna see his favorite uncle out there in the streets. The bus ride was cool. It was just how you envision a bus ride with a whole bunch of drunk and high people. Everybody's wilding out. Everybody's talking about what they're gonna do, and we're making plans what to do as soon as we get to the hotel. We're gonna drop our bags, and we're gonna get ready, and we're gonna start our party off right. The bus ride, like I said, it was cool. We get down to the hotel. He says, hold on, before y'all get off, let me go ahead and let them know we're here and get everybody's room keys and room organization. So we like, cool. That took about 30 minutes. We're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. You know me, I need to know. I get off the bus and I go to the lobby and I see him talking with somebody in the lobby. And I overheard the girl say, we don't have all the rooms you're required because the final payment didn't come within the time frame for us to hold those rooms. Now I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, we are short some goddamn rooms. And mind you, I ain't sleeping on the bus. And I'm not calling my nephew either. He need to make this shit right. The manager comes down, the manager's like, look, I know you had this amount of suites. We got about 8 suites, but 2 suites, gonna be on a different floor. Cause we was trying to be all on the same floor and stuff. No matter, it's not a big thing. He sees me, he comes over and he's like, yo man, I got the thing taken care of, but everybody's gonna be on the same floor except for 2 people. And that's gonna be on another floor. So I said, what's the difference in the rooms? Well, the rooms that we were told was gonna be twin, you know how they do like the 2 full-size beds, but the other rooms, come to find out, had queen beds. I was like, yo, if you want me to keep my mouth shut, I'm gonna need one of them queens. You know what I mean? I'm a big dude, and the girl I was seeing at the time, she was kind of thick too. I think she was pushing about 170, but she was like 5'8", so she carried it well. So he's like, cool, no problem. We get back to the bus, everybody get their keys and stuff. I'm telling her like, yo, we not gonna be on the same floor as everybody else because it was a little room mix up. She didn't care. All she wanted to do was, get a shower. Let's get our party clothes on and let's get this shit started. Everybody goes to their rooms. Luckily, that went off without a hitch. Everybody was happy with their rooms. They were cool. A couple people asked me like, damn, Tuck, how come you're not on our floor? And I'm like, they didn't have enough rooms or something, or they wasn't all clean. So I told them I'll take one, on the upper floor and stuff. I didn't want to tell them that, I went and got me, a queen bed or, whatever. Because that would definitely start some shit, and he was in enough shit as is. The first night we were supposed to go to this bar. It was like a rooftop bar, and it was going to be like a mixer where, we was going to, sit there and drink. The DJ he hired was actually a friend of his from, I want to say Maryland. Like, he was popular. I think the guy was on the radio down in Maryland and stuff. So he was pushing the party. So we knew it was going to be packed. Because as with any good DJs, he has his crowd that follows him. So wherever he's DJing, people gonna show up because he's just that good. So we get to the rooftop and come to find out, and this is before, sections and all that shit was a thing. This was probably the early stages of it. The sections that he got wouldn't accommodate all of us. I'm like, cool. I ain't want to be sitting, around a whole bunch of people drunk and get drinks spilled on me and, smelling like, whatever cheap cologne they got on or whatever. Me and my date, we were going to sit at the bar. Plus, I'm more comfortable at the bar and I can grab a spot where I can survey the room and not necessarily have my back to the entrance or whatever. We're in there chilling. Everything is going good. The DJ, he was nice. He was nice. And he took us on a journey. Like, he took us from It's the 70s, the 80s, the 90s to the 2000s, and he was very good. That night, beautiful. Everybody had a great time. We partied till about 4 in the morning. Everybody goes back to the hotel, and we're like, hotel has, the little breakfast set up. Like, it was part of our package. You can go down and use your room key, the tap or something, and they would know where to sit you so you can have like the breakfast. And I think the breakfast ran from about 8 a.m. to about 1:30, which kind of to me sounds like brunch hours, but wasn't nobody getting up if we just stopped partying at 3-4 in the morning. Everybody goes back to the room and do what adults do after drinking and partying all night. The next day comes, we're all at breakfast. People start trickling in. I think, me and my date got down there about 10:30. People started trickling in. Like, a couple people was there before us, and a lot of people came after us. So we're down there, we're chilling. We're just enjoying the vibes. Everybody's eating, and the food's good. And they actually had a chef there that, he would make you an omelet the way you want your omelet to be made. The next event for that day, because mind you, this is Friday. This is Friday afternoon. We were supposed to go on some sort of sightseeing tour. Like, you could go on a sightseeing tour, but me and my date, we really wasn't trying to do some sightseeing. We was trying to do some shopping. We hit up the little shopping district, and we started buying stuff and just chilling. We get back to the hotel. I see one of my friends just sitting there like she pissed, and she's like really pissed. Oh shit, what the fuck done broke now? So she sees me, and she walks over, and she's like, all of us got double beds and only you and him got the queens. I was like, ho. Do not loop me in with him. Yes, I did have a queen. That was only because I was present when the deal was being made, and I told him I would take one. She's like, but that should have been up to offer. We all paid the same amount. Sis, I know, you're right. But I'm not the one you need to argue with. You didn't give me any money. I gave my money to the same person you gave your money to. I just so happened to be around when that negotiation came up, and I was like, you know what, fine. Me and my girl will take one of the rooms upstairs. This chick, love her to death. She informed the whole group. This, like I said, is 2000 or 2001. Text messaging wasn't really that big. We had to hit the key a couple times just to get a certain letter. She was going from door to door telling people exactly what she heard and what transpired. So now, for whatever reason, people are coming to me. Don't come to me. You didn't give me your money. I don't have your money. You gave your money to him. He put all this in order. The only reason I have a different room than you guys was because I was there when this was transpiring. Since he saw me, he was like, would you take one of these rooms? Yes, I took one of the rooms. It's not like I went behind your back or anything like that. I just got one of the rooms. Plain and simple. Get off my dick. Now, everybody's kind of like, that's fucked up. Now he needs to try to make this right, because people are looking at it like, if I paid what he paid, but he got a better room, that's fucked up. I need some money back, or I want to upgrade my room with no cost to me. Now this cat is just like all over the place. Let me backpedal a little bit, because this is Friday. And remember what I told you in the beginning part of the story, that my man that had, 1 foot still in the streets, he needs his change. He comes up and he's like, I ain't really worried about the rooms or nothing like that, but I'm gonna need my dough. Now I see dude with this crazy look on his face. And that look was all I needed to see to know, you ain't got that brother's money. It's about to get ugly. Now, my man's like, I don't care about all that. I need my dough. I just need my dough. Dude is, you could just see his brain working like he's trying to come up with some sort of lie. But the thing I'm thinking about is, what did you do with all the money everybody gave you? That should have been enough for everybody's booking and some. Man, this fool basically tricked off the extra money. And I got this story weeks later after the fact. I know what you're wondering. What happened to the dude that wanted his money? Dude said, come on, where's my dough? And my man's like, nah, I'm still waiting on my mom. By now, breakfast is over. Like I said, it ended at 1:30. He's like, this has been more than enough time for your mom to go deposit the money in your account. Let's go over to the ATM, see what we working with. By then, I see this cat sweating bullets because I'm like, man, if he puts that card in the ATM, punches in those numbers, and no money comes out, it's going to be a problem. Actually, it was much worse. He goes to the ATM, puts his card in, the machine snatches the card, and it pops up on the screen, captured. Now, I know a lot of a lot of the younger listeners may not be familiar with that, but back in the day when ATMs started coming out and people started using them, especially when they got the Visa and MasterCard logos, you can, use it as a debit card, but you can kind of use it wherever you see the MasterCard or Visa insignia. Apparently, he went hard on that his card was overdrawn severely. Like I said, I didn't find this out that night. I found it out after everything went down. Whenever you did that, they would capture your card to keep you from spending it. So if you went and put your card in the machine, it would snatch it right up and it would pop capture right on the screen. Like bright red and white letters. So my man looked at him and was like, captured. He was like, oh, so you don't have any money. At that point, I thought dude was gonna sucker punch the hell out of him. He was like, all right, do what you gotta do. You got till 5 o'clock. I need my money. I don't care about nothing else. I need my money. We're all just pretty much just chilling around the hotel. We're at the hotel bar. Some people, went on the little, sightseeing trips, and, they had a nice outdoor pool, and it was a nice weather. It was about 79 degrees out. So some people went to the pool to chill. I go back to the room with my date, and, we sitting there talking. I'm just giving her all the deets of what's going down. I hear a knock at the door, go to the door, it's my man. My man's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Fan wants his money. My card just got captured by the ATM. I'm tapped out. So I'm looking at him like, what are you telling me for? We cool, but we not that cool. My date suggested, why don't you ask the girl you brought? I know she don't have it. My date's like, did you ask her? And he's like, nah, but I know she don't have it. My date left the room. I already knew what her ass was up to, because like I said, him and I got the rooms on the same floor, so his room literally was next to mine. She goes out, and me and him are sitting there talking, and he's brainstorming, because I'm not brainstorming with him, because it's not my problem. She comes back with his date, and she's like, oh, you needed some money, that's all you had to say. This girl's like, how much do you need? He's like, yo, I gotta get my man back his $600. I don't know what's going on. My mom said she made the deposit, but by the time I put my card in, I guess it was still overdrawn, so it got captured, and I'm gonna have to go to the bank and check things out. Now, this is about 3, maybe 3:30 in the afternoon. Banks got those hours where they're closed for the weekend, 5 p.m., and they don't open on the weekends. Banks being open on the weekends was not really popular back then. Long story short, the girl had the money. She said, I'm gonna give it to him because at this point I don't know if I could trust you with money. We all go downstairs to my man's room, knock on the door. He's like, yo, what's going on? He was like, old girl was like, yo, I got the money for you, here you go. She was like, is there anything else? And he's like, nah, but he said it's fucked up that we had to go through this way. He's like, yo, all I want to do was come out with my girl, have a good time and stuff. And this cat got me ready, mollywop his ass. When I say that dude narrowly missed the worst ass whipping he was about to get. Because let me tell you something about dude. When I say he had one foot in the street, he was about, I'm going to say he's about 6'1", because he's slightly taller than me and I'm 6 foot. So he's about 6'1", maybe 6'2", fit. I'm talking jailhouse fit. I'm talking jailhouse push-ups, like he doing pull-ups on street poles out in the street and shit fit. And dude was an amateur boxer. That ass whipping would have been so bad. So bad. Him being a street dude, having 1 foot in the street and 1 foot in corporate, he knew that he wasn't gonna fuck shit up. I'm gonna get my money, but I'm not gonna make a scene, especially out of town where he can't get to his peoples in case something go wrong and we gotta deal with law enforcement. He don't have no connections down there like that. That problem was averted. The thing that makes me want to share this story with you guys was that wasn't the last time something like that happened. That trip, like I said, everything he said, we went through, everything was cool. And I'm not even sure if he gave his date back the money and stuff, because she was a sweetheart. She was definitely too good for him, because I don't know of any female that you can invite on a trip and then hit her up for $600 because you short. Which also makes me think about this. Nigga, you had no money when we was in DC? Like none? Like you didn't have no spending money or nothing? Like what the... motherfucking the chips ain't lining up. But like I said, after averting that, I was just more concerned with just enjoying ourselves, and everything else he planned turned out well. It was great. The bus ride home was great. When we get back to work on Monday, everybody's talking about it. Everybody want to know how the trip was, and all we got to do is talk about how my man's, kind of fucked up the money. That's when other stories start coming out. We heard people say, yeah, that's why I didn't go, because last time he did a ski trip and it was fucked up. And then somebody else said, yeah, he did a trip for us to go to Virginia or wherever King's Dominion is or some shit like that, and he fucked the money up there. So he has a history of fucking money up. But it's just unfortunate that we didn't have social media or text groups that everybody could know. All these trips that was playing within certain pockets, that one pocket didn't talk to the other pocket, so people didn't know. But once that came out, he couldn't plan or do anything anymore. People just stopped fucking with him altogether. The sad thing about it is that I haven't seen this dude probably in about 15 years. But the last time his name came up in a group discussion, he was out here doing the same shit. Like fucking with people money. And, here in 2026, we all know that messing with people money will fuck around and get you hurt. It really will. It get you fucked up. People don't play about their dough. Sometimes the hardest part of being friends with somebody like that is knowing that they shady, knowing they got shady tendencies, but they also got good qualities that kind of like yin and yang. And that's what we talk about around here. These crazy stories.